Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are spending lots of time in the kitchen. The footage from today's video is actually from 2 different days. I have a dear friend who was really sick with the flu, and her oldest daughter was out of town visiting someone in North Carolina, and so I thought she desperately needs some food. She is not going to have the energy to feed her family, and if she is just surrounded by a bunch of boys and men at home, I don't know. I suppose they could have gone out and gotten takeout, but they live pretty far out in the country, and so it's not even as convenient to just order something. So I thought, what better than chicken soup on this cold day? And I had everything that I needed. So I chopped up onions, carrots. I found celery that was in the freezer in the laundry room. I also end up adding some baby portobello mushrooms that I thinly sliced. You can see that these carrots are cut into sticks. I had hopes and dreams of my kids eating some raw veggies, maybe with homemade ranch or hummus, over the last week or so, and it didn't happen. So, well, part of it was that I had no ranch made up for them. So often that is where the value in my food and meal prepping lies, is if I do that little bit of work ahead of time, more of our food gets eaten in the way that it is intended. But I had not made any ranch. So this did make my carrot chopping for the soup much easier because it was already in little carrot stick forms. So I added all of that to 2 big pots because, hello, if I'm going to be in the kitchen making all this food, I might as well do it twice or, double it at one time and feed my family the same thing for that night. So that is what I did. I had to go run errands in town, so it really gave me peace of mind to know that I was already going to have dinner ready for my family. Here I am opening 6 quarts of chicken stock that I made myself several months ago, and I am adding 3 quarts to each pot. When I pressure can chicken stock, all I do is add water and a little bit of apple cider vinegar to the carcass in my Instant Pot, and I let it go for an hour and a half or 2 at high pressure, and then I pressure can it as is. I don't add salt. I don't add veggie scraps. Like, you can do any of those things, but I just like to go ahead and can it and put it in my pantry in its simplest form, and then I can turn it into whatever I want, because home canned chicken stock, while it is flavorful and it's rich and it's so good for you, it is fairly neutral. I feel like neutral flavored. And so I can use it to make a gravy. I can use it in soups. I can use it in a casserole. I can use it to thin sauces. There's so much more variety when you don't go ahead and pre-season or pre-flavor things, but really it's just up to your personal preference. Here I have added the chicken. Now I used the rotisserie chicken that you will see later in this video, and I will tell you about that in a second. And then I used, for their soup, I added some rotini noodles that I had already had in the pantry. My family did not get noodles in theirs. Then I had to head out to deliver this food and deliver some milk. You can see that loaf of bread over there to the left. I sent a loaf of bread with the soup. Now, this is from our snow day yesterday. I went out and realized my daughter had accidentally left the olive oil outside that we use for Penny's teats, and it had frozen solid. And here is sweet little Buddy. His jacket was a little wet. He was waiting for Mama to come and nurse him and warm him up. So sweet. I did give Penny 2 big extra scoops of feed because, if you didn't know this already, when cows' rumen are full in their stomachs, then their body temperature rises because they are having to work harder to digest and ferment the food in their stomachs. Yes, they have more than one stomach. So here you can see Penny was very excited to have lots of extra feed in her bucket today. Now, please pardon, I don't think I've ever been on the internet in the state that I am in this part of the video, but after I had milked, I was freezing. So I went and took a hot bath, put my pajamas on, added my apron. It's only like 6 p.m., but it's completely dark outside, and it's pizza night. Now, I did discover that we did not have any marinara sauce or tomato-based anything of any kind left in our house. So here I am I'm even completely out of ranch dressing mix, which I make homemade, and I will add the recipe in the description below. But as a result, my kids were kind of bummed. They were like, well, can we just go get pizza? And I'm like, honestly, if the roads were not icy, we totally would, but they're icy today, so we couldn't go pick up pizza. So I made ranch dressing mix, which, took a few minutes. Then I made 2 bowls of ranch dressing. I added I didn't add the buffalo sauce. Anyway, the options for their sauces on the pizzas were going to be pesto, which if you've never had pesto as the base of your pizza before, it is delicious if you like pesto. The options were pesto, barbecue sauce, regular ranch, or buffalo ranch, and they were pretty happy with that. I really hope you are enjoying my daily video postings. It has really helped me get back in the habit of filming. As I've said a million times before, I really enjoy sharing all of this stuff with you, especially the food prep and encouragement to just make more from scratch and spend a little bit of extra time prepping things and thinking through your food. It saves so much time and money, and more times than not ends up being healthier for you. But getting back in the habit of filming makes me so incredibly productive. I look forward to sharing the next couple days videos with you as well, because I've just been go, go, go. But one thing is, by the time I am finished making this pizza, I told my older girls, I need y'all to stick around. Now, it's not, everyone takes turns like helping shut down the kitchen at night. Everyone takes turns on dish duty and all of those things. My kids are super helpful and they work really hard. And I feel like we all make a great team around the house. But this particular night, I was exhausted. I had been on my feet and mostly in the kitchen all day. And I said, I really need y'all to help put the kitchen to bed. Put things back in the fridge that belong in the fridge, put leftovers away, put any dirty dishes, pots, pans, and whatever over by the sink or in the sink, and Charlie will take care of those. But I was just done. My back hurt, my legs hurt. I had been on my feet all day. So that was really sweet and helpful, and I was very grateful. Okay, the ranch dressing is made. The rest of the mix is put up. Now it is time to roll out the crust. Now, because I was, as I said, completely wiped out and exhausted by the time this pizza was ready to go in the oven, I was originally planning to let them each make their own personal pizza, like a little one, and they love doing that for the most part, but I just didn't have it in me. I did not have it in me, because then I have to kind of babysit the oven for like 6 or 7 pizzas, and so I said, all right, I'm rolling out the dough for 3 big pizzas, and you guys can, I was totally willing to kind of visually divide each pizza into half or thirds, and they could tell me what they wanted on their portion. And so that is what I did. And they were okay with that. Their topping choices for the pizzas were bacon, like bacon pieces, sauteed onions, mushrooms, black olives, pineapple, and of course cheese. We also really like, whenever we have it available, to get string cheese out of the refrigerator and use string cheese to roll up on the edges of our crust to make stuffed crust. It is phenomenal. I mean, it is just as good as any overpriced, to-go pizza that does stuffed crust. It is so delicious. So a few of my kids did opt for stuffed crust. I ate a slice of pizza that had the cheese in the crust, and it was amazing. I had 6 kids home for dinner last night, and wouldn't you know, not a single one of them wanted the same thing on their pizza. So I did make quite a few variations of, the toppings and sauces and choices, and everyone was very happy with their final pizza. One thing I really love about pizza night any time of the year is that it's a really good opportunity to clean out your fridge. If there are any extra veggies that would even remotely sound good on a pizza, even varieties of different cheeses, sauces, obviously, you can think outside the box with sauces. And more times than not, when you are baking dough and topping it with cheese, whatever's between the cheese and the dough is just bonus. All of the pizzas last night turned out so good, and I'm so glad that we ended up using quite a few things from the fridge and the pantry that we normally wouldn't have for the topping choices or even the sauces. I forgot to add that we also had pepperoni in the fridge, so that was a choice for their toppings as well. I almost got myself into big trouble with regards to the cheese. We did not have any mozzarella cheese in the fridge. However, I had 3 big blocks of homemade mozzarella in the freezer from around the time of Hurricane Helene, when we were about to dry Penny off, but I had quite a bit of milk that I was trying to preserve in a variety of different ways so that we could make it through the next 2.5 to 3 months before she had her calf and we were back in milk again. So I pulled 2 blocks of cheese out of the freezer and stuck it in some warm water to defrost. Now, it was in a gallon bag, and the cheese inside the gallon bag was wrapped in plastic wrap multiple times, so the cheese did not get wet itself. And actually, it was a lot easier to shred when it was still partially frozen, and so it actually worked out perfectly, and the cheese melted beautifully. The pizza was delicious. I wish I had taken a picture of the finished pizzas, but you'll just have to use your imagination. Thanks for watching. I look forward to sharing more with you tomorrow.